Hello and welcome to another
Scouts
bot
reporting for
bash,
duty.
ladies and gentlemen. I am Unnormalism and this is Dawn of War Soulstorm. This is a bot bash tourney,
Scouts in
the
position.
semi-finals. Today we have the Space Marines facing off against Chaos, Ultramarines against the Night Lords. I believe those were the teams I chose the two. And if you're not familiar with a bot bash tourney, 2 bot center,
Scouts
1 bot
reporting for
leaves.
duty.
We've chosen a nice big map, and that's because we've added a couple of settings that will allow the bots to get nice, big, fat armies. We're just going to see how it goes,
Scouts reporting for
hopefully
duty.
violently. Interesting feature in this map is this river that's dividing it, but both bots started on the same side of the river in, I don't know, same side positions,
Position
north
secure.
and west? North and west, I believe the two directions the map normally shows. This is the north part, I believe, in the setup. But we'll just call them both west. I have a really hard time with my cardinal directions, so don't mind me if I start
Position
saying this is
secure.
west and east and whatever. And so we're going to see a real classic showdown of Space Marines versus Chaos. So I'm expecting lots of Space Marine squads and Chaos Space Marine, Battle Brothers, and also all that goodness. I'm expecting lots of vehicles. But overall, I think I favor Space Marines.
Defending objective.
Chaos
I command in the name
kind of
of the
requires some
Emperor.
specific things to be effective. Properly utilizing their special units, their demons especially, is very important for Chaos, and using some of their special abilities. The Sorcerer is a real, key component of the Chaos Space Marine armies, and
Traitors.
yep, traitors they are. Get in there. So scouts are going to engage on these cultists, and nope, they're just going to walk away. Don't want to risk that one. So I am expecting, after this initial setup, both teams will start to slowly drift across the river. As you see, the scouts are heading across now. Should see some cultists
Position
after they've
secure.
captured this start to come over here. But we should see most of the fighting happen around this area of the map, this central sort of point. However, there are a couple of additional victory conditions in place. We've got taken hold and area control, mostly because the bots are very bad at killing off the other player. So we can get into nasty stalemates. So anyone who can hold 2 critical locations for 7 minutes will win.
Position
And
secure.
otherwise I will let this game go for about an hour and a half. Probably closer to an hour, depending on how soon they run into a stalemate. We'll just have to see how it plays out. And once that happens, so it'll either determine a winner or we'll play it by time, and if there's a stalemate, we'll call it there. Here we see another engagement. The Chaos Lord and a squad of Chaos Marines versus 2 Scout squads and the Force Commander, but they're retreating wisely. They've got some Space Marine squads of their own backing up here. These early engagements I do favor Chaos just because they'll drag everything into melee with their weak cultists, but the difference is the cultists aren't meant to be a range unit, whereas the Chaos Marines are, and this is a big mistake, engaging the Force Commander like that. Currently favoring this towards the Marines, but they're running around instead of just standing and shooting, which is something the AI does quite a bit early on. They tend to do a lot of these. I think they describe it as footsies, or something to that extent. In the AI settings, we're using an AI mod, the Skirmish mod for Dawn of War Soulstorm. Makes the bots a little better, substantially better, depending on the day. They're more consistent, more consistently intelligent. They don't make nearly as many absolutely stupid mistakes. And so we get to see them practicing their footsies, which is maneuvering, positioning to get an advantageous circumstance, so you're not just taking fire. Again, because of many of the inner working mechanics in Dawn of War, you have worse accuracy while attacking on the move. Here's another interesting engagement. I don't think they'll take it because of that listening post, but would have been interesting with the Raptors. Yeah, already I'm seeing quite large armies start to come out. Which I'm really impressed with. So maybe the default setting in the future is the large armies. We should see the unit cap go well beyond 20. Once it gets going, once the teams ramp up to that level. We've got frag grenades coming out. What's going on here? Why do they look so strange? Okay, they looked strange for a minute there to me. Like they weren't doing their full run animation or something. Something about them. So Chaos right now seems to have been claiming the middle. They've got one of the critical locations. If they manage to get either of the other ones, it will start the countdown victory, which can be a surprise upset. If one team just happens to get critical points and the other team does not contest, the game just ends. Here we've got a couple of heavy bolters thrown on top of that Chaos Marine squad, and engaging on this listening post will be an easy kill if no support comes. We see the Space Marines trying to move into position to defend it. They're going to take their time though. I do like listening posts in this game, or strategic point buildings, whatever you call them. The fact that they are a defensive point in of themselves, rather than relying on building static defense. The only thing I wish this game had was building walls, so you could build a little wall just around them, but I suppose that's what the upgrades are really functionally meant to serve as, is defending them. We see the Raptors going in, but that's a big mistake as there's a lot of Marines here and a Force Commander, and if they just decided to engage, they'd be able to clean this up pretty handily. And here we see, with the Flamers as well going off, the Raptors will be driven off, and then that puts... Oh, was that a kill on the squad? Yeah, that puts the Chaos at a disadvantage, losing an entire squad there. Really only got these heavy bolter Marines and the Chaos Lord, which that won't go well in a straight engagement. Heavy bolters I do think are amazing, but when you've got two squads against one, oh, we've got the Unholy Power or whatever it is. It gives them a temporary attack boost, being absolutely devastating to this Force Commander, and it looks like both Chaos Lord and Force Commander might go down here, depending on if their accuracy gets split, and nope, they've stopped firing. Very unfortunate, it was very close to killing that Force Commander, but he seemed to just squeeze out of that one before it got too close. And the Chaos Marines will retreat before they lose too many of their numbers. Raptors coming to reinforce. Meanwhile, we have a little establishment coming up here. Heavy bolter turret to support that listening post. I like it. Chapel Barracks for forward unit production. Good stuff. We should be seeing, I think that's now the Stronghold upgrade, so they're going to the next tech level for Chaos Marines. And we should be seeing a similar story. Oh, okay, Chaos is already on the next tech level with a machine pit at that tier 2, and we've got a graphical bug there from this Chaos Armory, but that's okay. We won't have to look at it too much. And currently, I'd actually say map control for the game is definitely favoring Chaos. They seem to be more well spread out. They haven't got the listening post established. Oh, they have. Yeah, they've got listening post established, and now they're stealing away this point. And we can see that it feels like Space Marines are getting slowly driven back by the flow of the game. However, with two Chapel Barracks, provided they have the resources, being able to produce twice as many units as your opponent is a big deal, and any initial advantage Chaos might have could quickly be lost as we transition into, there it is, Tech 2. See more, I think that's going to be a builder coming out of there, and we saw another squad of Chaos going down, and while Chaos is making grounds in map control, they're losing grounds in sheer military force, although the Defiler coming out here will make a big difference. I'm not sure if the Space Marines have any sort of tools to deal with that. They might have crack grenades, which could potentially do it, but in all likelihood that Defiler is going to smash through their ranks. As long as it doesn't attack this position, it doesn't matter how tanky you think your vehicle is, it cannot charge into two groups of Space Marines and two Raptors and a listening post and come out good. You'd want that supported heavily by, heavy bolter Marines and the like. I like this, again, a heavy bolter supporting that listening post. So here we come, the Defiler's marching in. We've just got builders here, servitors. Defiler opens fire with that side cannon of it. I like the underslung cannon, the big artillery piece. I think it's got in the belly there. I'd always set them to ranged mode, as bad an idea that was. And okay, the Defiler's going to come in and start destroying the Space Marine base, which is causing all of these troops to go running back. We'll see if any grenades go out. There are 3 Assault Marine squads, so if they have those, or 2 Assault Marine squads, so if they have those anti-vehicle grenades, which they just, melter bombs, sorry, the melter bombs, they now have melter bombs, and that should absolutely devastate the Defiler, and I think they've already thrown, both of them out now. The Chaos Sorcerer is trying to do some work, but Chaos Sorcerer by himself, or... Okay, here we go. A big engagement going on. We see Raptors fighting Assault Marines, Chaos Space Marines dragged into the fray, which is not where they want to be. They're right to retreat there so they can get better positioning and hopefully shoot from a distance. The Defiler needs to get in here and provide support. Even if it dies, it's better to get in there and win this battle than it is to leave these poor Raptors to die. And you see the Chaos Marines have had to retreat, the Raptors are now retreating. And Chaos appears to be in a full retreat with the exception of this Chaos Lord, who should not be in there anyway. And there's also these invisible cultists who are causing some strife, but the AI will be pretty quick to get on that. We have a machine cult, sorry, coming up. I think it's the Chaos is the machine pit. Getting all the names mixed up. Yeah, machine cult. So we should see, hopefully, I'd like to see a land speeder and a dreadnought. And I like Hellfire Dreadnoughts lately. That's sort of my thing lately is Hellfire Dreadnoughts. We've got a Chaos Predator coming out. A very useful support piece, but you do not want it getting too close in combat. While it is very tough, tough, difficult to take down, it's not meant to be in melee range. It's meant to stand back and cause devastation that way. As you can see, it's proving itself quite effective. That Chaos Lord is dead again. A real shame, but we are seeing these heavy bolters being given a free chance to unload. However, the Chaplain unleashed his, I think, Smite, or his magical attack, I can't recall what it is. And this appears that the Chaos are really struggling at this point. The Flame is going off in this Raptor squad. That Force Commander might go down. It's going to come down very close, but it looks like the Raptors got dragged away as the Force Commander joined that squad to protect himself. A very clever move by the AI, by the Space Marines. We're seeing a deep strike. That'll be Horror Squads. I forgot what they were called. Horror Squad's very good against vehicles. I don't know if they're good against buildings particularly, but they are good against vehicles. Not good in this circumstance, not until, as vehicle comes out. So that was a little bit of a misplay, I think. Could have better spent those time and resources on maybe building a possessed squad. Those squads are kind of amazing. That's why you can only get one of them. Corn Berserkers now in the fray. I think that is a great addition to this force. Really needs just more firepower in the back, but the Chaos Predator, I guess, is providing that. The problem is Chaos is split among two sides right now, and they're really having a hard time making headway because their force is in two while Space Marines is all in one place. Flanking attacks really work in RTS games for this reason, is you can focus one side too easily, whereas being able to focus both sides, having your forces split means your damage is split across a larger area, whereas in a RTS game you typically want a single heavily focused spot for damage. We're going to see Space Marines running ahead with a heavy bolter and some flamers against this Defiler. Defiler shouldn't care too much about that, but with these addition of a couple of Assault Marine squads, if they drop out their melter bombs, should deal with that quite handily. None so far. Got plasma fire coming from the infiltrated scout squads. But again, enough firepower will just kill a Defiler. Enough firepower will take out a big vehicle. This listening post about to receive its next tier upgrade. This is a nice front coming from the Chaos Space Marines. We've got two Marine squads, is that a third? No, two Marine squads, Corn Berserkers and a Predator tank coming in, and now another Horror squad will be dropping there. The Space Marines really need to get over here and defend that, but they're currently bogged down by these cultists and the Chaos Lord who was with them. So now they need to come down here and protect this because they have just lost this outpost entirely. It seems like Space Marines are getting spread out quite far. Oh, I love the Defiler artillery shot there. The big boom. Oh, there it goes again. That's why I love the Defilers. But they seem to be surrendering this position to Chaos, which I completely disagree with. But over here, we're getting the first claim for the take and hold victory. So the timer is about to begin. The clock is going to start ticking. So the land speeder come through. I don't think we've seen tier 3. God, I'm loving the Marine squads deploying at such a fast rate. That okay, I'm definitely leaving that unit cap increase on for all subsequent battles. Oh, we've got Obliterators dropping in. Just spawning on the battlefield, teleporting their way in through the warp. Obliterators would make a big difference if they weren't getting dragged into melee, and this entire battle is just a mess for the Chaos Forces if it wasn't for these infiltrated Chaos Marines, which are just able to do so much damage. The Horror Squad's coming through, trying to hit the buildings, but not getting a lot of work done. We've got a Hellfire Dreadnought walking around, and there we go, the detection has come out, I think from the Chaplain, and that will lead to this squad getting absolutely annihilated. So advantage to Space Marines right now, despite a 50-50% control for area, for control points, for relics. And now the take and hold countdown victory has begun. Chaos will need to claim this central point if they hope to regroup. However, Chaos has taken such a strong lead already that I'd be surprised if they could manage it in this time. To the point where these battles are so incredible that I think I might actually turn off take and hold victory in the next game, just because this has been such an incredible mosh pit of fighting all over the map. It's been really interesting, and Necrons are notoriously cheesy for take and hold victory because they only use their workers to claim things, and they can just endlessly push a mosh pit of forces into you. See another Defiler coming through, wasting its time on that listening post. I mean, wasting its time in general. I think this is a complete mistake. Space Marines have such a large force across here. Like, this is really showing the strength of the Space Marines. Assault Marines diving in on vulnerable range targets. This array of different weapons. We've got heavy bolters here. What have we got? Doesn't look like any upgraded weapons there. Do we have any rockets somewhere? Nope, just Battle Brothers. Just Battle Brothers as far as the eye can see. And you know what, that is how you want to see the Space Marines represented. We'll switch over to Chaos just real quick to see how it looks from their perspective. And yeah, you can see their food count is really lagging behind, and I think they're getting their Chaos Sorcerer right now. It's really not holding up in comparison. They need to just build up an army and get into position. They are producing from 2 Sacrificial Circles, 1 Chaos Temple. They have 2 Machine Pits, but their resources are sort of lagging behind, and we do have something in that Demon Pit there. Or Demon Pit, sorry. However you like to pronounce it. So I think that must be Obliterators again. I'd like to presume it's Obliterators. One thing that has always been... why are you... Is that just by itself? It's not attached to another squad? Oh, okay, yeah, it's just recovering. So we have seen the Chaos... Oh, I saw Possessed Marines. Yes, get them in large numbers. So we see now the Space Marines are heading in to attack, and this will be probably the deciding fight. We see the Obliterators dropping. We see Chaos is just dropping all of their forces right now in this last-ditch effort. And if Space Marines just push out with everything, I'm not sure Chaos will be able to withstand it. But right now, the battle does favor Chaos because not everything is there for the Space Marines. These heavy bolters aren't even engaged. Okay, now they're opening fire, but it's only on the Chaos Sorcerer where they really need to be hitting everything up here. We do have 2 Dreadnoughts in there, and that Defiler is going down. This is as far out as I can get zoomed, I'm very sorry. The Obliterators are laying in Space Marines, while the Assault Marines up here are chewing into everything. Those Khorne Berserkers are a great unit, but against this much force, I'm not sure they can handle it. And now you can see even the Obliterators are starting to pull back. Another Defiler coming up. Even Cultists getting into the fray. Everything needs to get out of the way so I can just appreciate the battle. And yeah, Assault Marines are just running rampant over all these range units, dragging them into melee. The Defiler can't contribute, and these Space Marine squads are just continually rolling forward. A Land Speeder coming now, just pushing forward, claiming more and more. And Chaos doesn't even hold 1 critical location at this point, at any point on the map. I think that's an infiltrated squad, yeah, claiming that. So, Space Marines look to be taking an absolutely dominant position right now, and unless this listening post and bolter turret really swing things, this force will just drive this back. The Hellfire Dreadnought is going to retreat for repairs. The AI likes to do that, something I personally really disagree with. Okay, we've got a second Defiler in here, that could actually save this. This you know, Space Marines, they don't seem to have any anti-vehicle, you know, support here, with the exception of the Hellfire Dreadnought, which, if it was actually firing, would be great, but it's gotten caught on other units, and it's not contributing right now, neither is the Force Commander. And further than that, the Assault Marines have all dried up, so now it's just basically Space Marine squads with no support. Force Commander still, okay, he's finally moved now that the Dreadnought's died. But we're going to see another Deep Strike in here. Oh, okay, so it's a Marine Deep Strike, and we've got Terminator squads coming in, which is really bad, but there's a Demon Prince. He's coming out. Now we just need the Bloodthirster for the father and son combo. I guess we're getting to that point in the play. Look at his face. Look at that face. Oh yeah, he's adorable. Look at that goofy looking face. He's taking so much fire, but that's really what they needed, was a big playmaking piece like that to slow the progress of the enemy. And this has allowed them a lot of time to rebuild, regroup, and you can see a nice big Chaos Force coming through here to turn this way. The real shame, and I do regret it now that I've done it, is putting Take and Hold Victory on, because of all the games where a stalemate would happen. It just became so necessary. And now that we've put on the bigger battles, the more violent and awesome fray is breaking out. And this is two really good teams as well. It's a real shame that the battle has to end so soon because of Take and Hold Victory, which is definitely going off when the Necrons play, because the Necrons will cheese out every win with Take and Hold. But this has been incredible. This has been a lot of fun. Definitely a big fan of increasing the unit cap, because the AI just goes crazy with it. See some Assault Marines going to try and jump in and get absolutely annihilated. I actually favor this position for Chaos right now, and it's a shame that they're not going to be able to uncap 2 points in time to save this. Because, you know, while they are pushing back with 4 Defilers! 4 Defilers! That's so good! Oh, we're going to see the tactical... Oh, what is it called? I can't remember. The Orbital Bombardment from Space Marines, which is devastated. And the Predator shooting. You fought so good, Chaos, but it wasn't enough. The Space Marines took that lead. And unfortunately, despite your best efforts and your real military recovery here, the victory will have to go to Space Marines. That was a really cool battle, and I'm excited to see more of it in the future. Let's see. Yeah, we've got an orbital relay. We knew that because of the Terminator squad. I was just looking around to see if there was a Land Raider or the Relic unit for Space Marines. I was just trying to see if it was around. What have we got building out of this? We had another Demon Prince. Would have loved to have seen the Bloodthirster. I believe that's what it's called. The really big one. Like that you can see the projectiles frozen in the air. Well, that was a really good showing of both sides. And, oh man, another Deep Strike was coming in. Let's go check out the score screen to see just how close it was. So here we go, military, Team 2, Computer 1 was Space Marines. Resources actually favored Chaos overall, but technology and military favored the Space Marines, and we'll see why. And it came down to kills, basically. It looks like Chaos took down more buildings. They had the bigger army at points, but the Space Marines better utilized their forces to eliminate Chaos forces. And maybe that was a lot of cultist kills, but I think in reality it was probably a lot of like actual victories, because for a long time they had the momentum and were pushing out. Resources, kind of irrelevant. Technology, this is the other important one. Specifically looking at strategic points, relics, and captured critical locations to see who really held a dominant position throughout the game. Got some cool stuff here with researchers were actually fairly even. Chaos actually had the more unit researchers, but we had more upgraded war gear on individual units, which probably gave the Space Marines that extra oomph they needed to really push through the battle. And then reinforced, it looks like the Space Marines were reinforcing their squads a lot more, which isn't actually a negative. What it means is that their squads were staying alive more to reinforce. You should typically find that Chaos will reinforce their squads a lot more because they have cultists, which come in large groups, Space Marines not so much, but Possessed Marines come in large groups. Things like that. When your units come in larger groups, you expect to see more reinforcement rather than building new squads. And then as we see, the Space Marines really clinched it out with this control of important locations, especially having the 3 relics instead of only 2. I'd say that would be the big tipping point that gave them an advantage. And even the resources is interesting because I believe the reason Chaos took the lead there was because they eliminated, I think, 2 power generators fairly early on. So overall, it looks like Space Marines a fairly dominant victory, and they will go on to the next round. But Chaos did a damn good showing, and so please join me next time for another good old grudge match between the Eldar and the Necron, and I can't wait to see you all there. Thanks for joining me.